Alright guys, I'm going to show you guys how to change your valve cover gasket. I have a leaking valve cover gasket here, and I'm going to show you guys how to replace that. Now there's two banks here. This is my 2003 Hyundai Santa Fe, by the way. There's two banks. This bank 1 is a V6, so two valve covers, meaning two banks. So I'm only going to do two. There's two, that's one. I'm only going to do two. Because to do the bank 1 valve cover, I have to take out this whole manifold. So this on the Hyundai, most of the bolts, as I already said, most of the bolts are 10 millimeter. So all of these is 10 millimeter. You don't need to take out the spark plugs, just the spark plugs wires. Oh, before you take these out, make sure you label them or pick a picture of where to go. Mine is an aftermarket spark plug wires, and yeah, so I label mine. This is 2, 4, and 6. I already wrote it on there, but they are also written on these little labels on here, so I can remember easily. But you can take a picture or write it, or I don't know, just make sure you remember, because if you put them back wrong, your car is not going to run the same. So you don't want to put them back wrong. All right, so you take those off and you just take out the bolts and then pry the cover off and clean the cover out, the mating surfaces, clean those out. And then I got the gasket right here. That's the gasket. That's two gaskets, one for bank 1 and one for bank 2. So I got that over there, and then I'll be cleaning it out with sandpaper and then putting it back, just like how I did the throttle body gasket. It's the same way, it's just you're doing it with the valve cover. So it's pretty simple, straightforward. So as you can see here, this is the leaks. My valve cover is leaking. Both sides are leaking, and they're leaking really bad. I mean, it doesn't really affect the car performance right now. Later it probably will. It can short out some, wires, some components, like my AC compressor is not working. It's oily. There's a bunch of oil on it, and I'm not going to try to fix it until I take care of the oil problem, the oil leaking problem. Now the valve covers are leaking. I know about those, but there's might be some other components leaking, like rear main seal, front main seal, timing cover might be leaking. Who knows? This car has 193 on it now. It's getting higher mileage because I'm using it every day, and the more I use it, the more stuff goes wrong and gets old and stuff. See the leak right there? That's the compressor, AC compressor. There's a lot of leak on there, and there's a lot of leak back here too on the alternator, which is bad because it can shorten out the alternator, and you have a bad alternator, you have to get another one. So yeah, I have to take care of this problem. That's the reason I'm replacing it, because it will lead down to more expenses if I don't. Now this harness right here might be a little hard to take this out because it's connected at multiple locations, one being the oxygen sensor, and then the one being connected to the AC compressor, and then of course the injectors are here. So I might have to just disconnect the injectors, and then somehow once I take out all the bolts from the the cover, the valve cover, I can somehow fit, mess around with it and take it out that way. But in the meantime, we'll take it out. And these injectors, I can't really get my finger on the connector to release it and pull it out. So I'm just gonna get a 5-hit screwdriver and take it from there. All right. It's proven difficult, but it'll come up. It'll come up. just be careful you don't break this when you're taking it out. But the point is, just like how you take out almost all connectors, you squeeze them and take them out. That's how you do these. Alright, I got this out. I gotta do the same for the rest of these, which is kind of hard, but you just gotta tap at the right point. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these off, and then I'll get back to the video. Alright guys. Alright, so I took them off with a bigger flathead screwdriver. It's kind of hard taking these connectors off. I had to go in like that and take them off. But yeah, I took them off though. Flathead screwdriver saved the day again. Anyways, take these 10 millimeters nuts off. Also, you might want to pull this hose out the way, and also this one too, right here. You need a plier for that, so squeeze the tab or the clamp right here. You want to squeeze that, and then pull this out. Just like that, put that out of the way, and then continue taking out the rest of these. Remember where this goes? It goes right there. It's the longest one. Well, another smart thing you might want to do is while you're doing this, you might want to plug these holes in, and I'll probably gotta close this back up just in case for any dirt, you know. Yeah, so no dirt goes in there. You could do that if you want. There's a lot of 10 millimeter bolts. So I gotta use a ratchet in some of these areas, taking out the 10 millimeter bolts, nuts, because my gun here, I don't have the swerve socket, universal adapter, swerve adapter, so my gun can't fit in some of these areas. Anyways, all the screws came out, and taking out the valve cover now. As you can see here, this harness is in the way, but I can't really take it out because it's connected in multiple locations. Well, I'm just gonna try to funnel around with the cover and somehow drag it out of there. Alright. So yeah, this is it right here. Because like I said, the spark plugs are all the way here. Because they're all the way here, I'm really not gonna mess around with them. Before I put it back though, I will blow air in these spark plugs, so if there's any dirt in here right now, they'll come out. I don't see any big pieces of dirt, but just in case. But yeah, it's pretty simple on this car. The belt is right here. You can see the belt once you take out the cover. The belt is right there. The cam lobes, the lifters, cam lifters and stuff, and the cam caps are right here. Bunch of parts around here. You don't mess around with it. You just change in the gasket, the seal. So all you do is just take the old seal out, just like this, and you put the new seal back in. Get rid of this one. This one is leaking, obviously. And then we're gonna find the correct seal. But before I put this seal back, I'm gonna get a paper, sandpaper, and go around this mating surface down here. Clean all around here before I put it back. Wipe it nice and clean. Put it back. I don't have to do it on the cover. We don't have to do it on the cover because it has a little groove in there, and it's really not gonna affect it. And the gasket goes in the groove anyways. So the gasket is bad. Another one. So pretty much you guys gotta make sure it's nice and clean. Mine looks kind of nice and clean. It looks like all I have to do is wipe it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Wipe it nice and clean, and then I don't even need the sandpaper really, but there's some valve covers that you're gonna need a sandpaper to clean around it. This one, mine looks clean already. I'm gonna go ahead and just use brake cleaner and just clean this. Nice rag, and just clean out these areas. Make sure it's nice and clean, and put it back. I'm gonna go get the sandpaper again and sand it down a little bit. So like this. Sand this around it. Making sure it's nice and smooth. This is 1200 grade. Not gonna be no harm. Because the surface is supposed to be nice and smooth. So that's what I'm doing. Nice and smooth. And then We'll go ahead with the brake cleaner and blast it off again. Just wipe it. Just a dirty job, guys. Yeah, dirty job here. Wipe it off. Nice and clean. And, just let it sit on the floor. And then tend to this one right here. This the engine itself surface. Gotta make sure it's nice and clean. We'll put some brake clean on the rag. Make sure it's nice and clean. So obviously the reason you want to disconnect fuel injectors because you want this harness to be able to lift up a little more so you can be able to slide the cover out. But you want to make sure you clean this whole surface. Clean nice. Because you put in the new gasket here, you want to make sure it seats well so it doesn't leak again. Alright guys, as you can see, the surface is really clean. Clean it out nice. But yeah, it's not gonna be perfect, obviously. Yeah, we'll be putting the cover back now with the new gasket. There's a little tab right here for the inside of the spark plug for keeping the spark plug's holes from leaking. I'm not going to change them just because they're not leaking, so I'm just going to keep these for later. If they are leaking later, I will place them, but right now I'm just going to keep the old ones in there. We got to do it in the cover. I got to put it in the cover. Once I do, I'll show you guys, but I'm just gonna go around with the shape of the gasket and put it in there. So I'm putting the gasket in right now in the cover, and this cover makes it so easy. Some cars is not this easy. You have to really put it in there. But this car, the Hyundais, I guess they're a little easy, more than other cars, more expensive cars. They're kind of a little bit more precise with the way they fix and put the parts together. But yeah, so this gasket looks like it's there. The bolts holes line up perfectly. Now I'm gonna get this. Yeah, I gotta funnel around with it. So you just gotta mess around with it, put it back with the other gasket coming off, with the bolts back, and this all should be good. I'm gonna put it back off camera. I'm just putting it back like this, the same way you should put it back. You should be able to. Just this harness in the way that's making it a little tougher. I don't want to go through the trouble of removing this harness, so I'm not gonna really worry about it. But that's what you gotta do. I'll get to that point and I'll show you guys. Put it back. So the long bolt that was here, I put that in first. Make sure the gasket was seated right. Make sure you go around and you look at it and it's seated right before you start putting, you know, bolts back and stuff. But I put this in. This one goes in right. And make sure the spark plug hose, the caps around the hose is, and the cylinder is all the way out, and it's round, there's space around it. Make sure you check that out too, because if you don't, the seal might leak, you know, if the cylinder didn't come all the way up on it. So you want to make sure of that. Make sure you go around it again like I already said. Then you can just start putting the bolts back and screwing them back in before you start tightening it up. Make sure you put everything back, and then obviously there's a sequence to this. I don't have repair menu to, you know what the sequence is to tighten this up, but I'll look it up on Google and do that. If I don't find it, then I'll probably just tighten it the way I know. You know, you start from the center, I believe, or somewhere in the middle, and you work your way out. That's what I was taught. So you want to do that if you don't find the sequence to tighten it up. So that's pretty much what I'm doing now. I'm going to tighten it up, put everything back like it was, and I'm going to close this out. Like I said, same way you put it out, same way you take it out, is the same way you put it back. So remember everything. You can put it back. Peace out. Till next time. LW out ahead. And I'm out.